World of Warcraft's universe is so incredibly big, and every day it is constantly expanding, both lore-wise and map-wise. This is why it is inevitable that more avenues get explored both in-game and through the lore that may correlate with our real lives, one of which is in fact narcotics. Although this isn't Narcos or Breaking Bad, and the game isn't centered around drugs so much so to the extent of where it may intrigue Lindsay Lohan, WoW still nonetheless very much has drug trafficking as well as narcotics, which are used to influence an individual physiologically. In today's video, we will explore 5 drugs in World of Warcraft, Part 2, and what they do. Number 5. Gris Blood. Gris Blood is the name of an herb which was given its title after, you guessed it, Grommash Hellscream, and you'll see exactly why here in a minute. Gris Blood can be gathered and harvested in fel-saturated and demon-infested areas such as Felwood, Blasted Lands, Desolate, and even certain places in Ashenvale which are occupied by demon remnants. It is even speculated, though not confirmed, that Gris Blood actually works to cleanse the nearby lands of fel taint and fel corruption, since it absorbs the essence of fel into itself. Now, given the fact that this herb is basically saturated in fel energy and corruption, you'd think it'd be a smart idea to stay away from this thing, right? Wrong. Gris Blood is used by alchemists to form many elixirs and potions which enhance the physical aptitude of the consumer, but at a dangerous risk. The herb grants great anabolic properties, allowing an enhancement to one's muscle mass, but coupled with the fact that there is still fel in the elixir due to the Gris Blood, it might be a dangerous combo. To negate such severe effects being wrought from the Gris Blood, alchemists tend to mix it with sorrow moss in order to find a medium between the two herbs and gain respective benefits from each herb while minimizing the potential repercussions from either of them. For instance, in the elixir of brute force, 2 Gris Blood paired with 2 sorrow moss are mixed together in a vial to produce a potion which enhances one's strength and stamina at no cost. In contrast, however, the mighty rage potion, where Gris Blood is used more aggressively, 3 Gris Blood are crushed together to form the potion, which instantly generates a substantial amount of rage to the consumer, as well as increasing his or her strength. A pretty dangerous combo, right? But also useful, since in World of Warcraft, you don't really care too much about collateral damage while you're playing the game. You care about high parses. Given the fact that they are harvested in fel-tainted areas with demons running about, and the fact that it is basically a steroid but with way more severe side effects that has the potential to send you into a wilding ape rage, no wonder it has the name as Gris Blood. Number 4. Lichbloom. Lichbloom is another type of medicinal herb found in the frozen wastes of Northrend, if you didn't notice by the name. It is because of this very fact that in the lore, most people stray away from Lichbloom, skeptical to its purpose and its origins, and rightfully so, considering the fact that the Scourge are also in the area, permeating the lands with necromantic corruption, and also with the fact that Serenite is also in the lands, which was thought to be a simple ore. In the end, however, it turned out to cause the insanity of many individuals. Lichbloom is renowned and mainly used for its magical properties, since the concentration of mana within the herb is so high. This in turn allows many alchemists to use Lichbloom to form battle elixirs and potions, such as the Flask of the Frostworm, where 5 Lichbloom, 5 Ice Thorn, and 1 Frost Lotus are all combined together to form a concoction which enhances one's spell power vastly for a single hour. In other scenarios, Lichbloom is also broken down into liquid form and used as an oil coating for weapons wielded by spellcasters. This oil replenishes the mana of the wielder every few seconds, giving the spellcaster a small, yet still substantial boost to their abilities. In the War of the Frozen Wastes, back during Wrath of the Lich King, supplies ran low between the forces of the Northrend counteroffensive, as the living were fighting a war of attrition against the dead. Because of this, when food was scarce and extremely limited, many soldiers reluctantly turned to Lichbloom as a source of food, using it as tea and other forms of nourishment. Number 3. Peacebloom. Peacebloom is one of the most commonly used herbs in World of Warcraft, known for its use ranging from decorations to even medicinal purposes, since the herb itself has astounding regenerative properties. Peacebloom is one of the safest herbs to use in Warcraft, since most of its effects range from acting as an anti-inflammatory agent to even just straight up encouraging healing outright from even the most grievous of wounds. For example, 1 Peacebloom in conjunction with 2 Mage Royal can form a minor rejuvenation potion which will grant its consumer a boost to their physical health as well as to their mana, making it very important for casters in the midst of battle or who are recovering post-battle. All in all, it is an herb that encourages healing, whereas other herbs such as Gris Blood may be used to enhance one's physical stature while also influencing the host psychologically. However, just because Peacebloom is known for its regenerative properties doesn't mean that it's all Disney goody-goody happy fun time up in here. Peacebloom is actually extremely addictive since the herb is used in so many practices ranging from elixirs, decorations, to even consumption such as being mixed into tea. Peacebloom tends to lead many people into being addicted to it. A notable example is Lord Aiden Perinold, the king of the human lands of Alterac, who eventually betrayed the Alliance in exchange for safety from the Horde during the Second War. Aiden was known to be a heavy addict to Peacebloom, whether it be through excessive medicinal purposes or through constant consumption. Number 2. Stranglekelp. Stranglekelp is one of the more unique types of herbs on the list, since it not only can be used as a narcotic, but left alone before harvesting, Stranglekelp is incredibly dangerous. It doesn't get its name for absolutely no reason. In fact, there's two reasons as to why it has the name Stranglekelp. One, because one of the major locations that it can be harvested is in fact within Stranglethorn Vale, and two, because it is located underwater and has the ability to ensnare creatures and people who try to harvest it, ultimately drowning them. This is some straight up Plants vs Zombies stuff right here. The vines of Stranglethorn is in fact so powerful that once ensnared, it is extremely difficult to break out of. To paint you a picture, their vines can be used as rope when dried. Ironically, however, even though the plant has led to the deaths of plenty of creatures, the herb, when harvested, successfully has a lot of healing and regenerative properties, which is invaluable, especially when used in conjunction with other herbs to form certain types of elixirs. For instance, one Stranglekelp crushed together with a Mage Royal will instantly recover a certain amount of mana to the consumer, making it invaluable for spellcasters. In the world event for the opening gates of Ahn'Qiraj, the Alliance received the quest from an NPC named Private Draxelgage, who seems pretty desperate in asking you to acquire some Stranglekelp, not just for him, but also for the Alliance military. Throughout the dialogue for the intro to the quest, the progression, stage, and also the concluding stage, Draxelgage is constantly praising Stranglekelp for its invaluable utility and endless potential. However, he doesn't exactly clarify on what Stranglekelp can specifically be used for. All we know is that it is incredibly useful, which is why he and the Alliance military want it so badly and use it so often. However, in the progressing stage of the quest, he does say a bit of dialogue which is really interesting and can lead to players to believe that perhaps there's more purpose to Stranglekelp than just it being used for elixirs and rope. When I tried looking up more information regarding Stranglekelp, I didn't find any information from a canon source which confirmed that Stranglekelp was smoked like pot, aside from a WoW wiki page. However, the page was considered a non-canon source, but given the dialogue here, I think it's safe to assume that there's certainly some recreational uses that Stranglekelp would be ideal for. Number 1. Blood Thistle. Blood Thistle is an herb that is heavily saturated with magical properties, making it a source of attraction for arcane addicts, and that can also be found in the High Elven lands of Quel'Thalas. Because it is so heavily centered around magic, Blood Elves tend to become avid users of the herb in order to acquire more potency to their spells, as well as fueling their hunger for magic after the corruption of the Sunwell. The herb actually can only be consumed by Sin'dorei, and only ever affects them. However, there's also a price to be paid for consuming the plant. Blood Thistle is heavily addicting to Blood Elves, and if one goes too long without getting their fix, they actually enter into a bodily state of withdrawal, where they suffer from physical and psychological hindrances. In contrast, however, if a person overindulges in Blood Thistle usage, it can in turn turn them into a wretched. Wretched Blood Elves are those who overindulge in sources of arcane magic, so much so that they are driven mad, their bodies disfigured to the point of deformity, and who are unable to think rationally, making them incredibly violent and hostile, with the only things on their minds being acquiring their fix. Overusing Blood Thistle is also incredibly looked down upon within the Blood Elven community, with most elves referring to those who overindulge in Blood Thistle as being weak-willed thistleheads. Eclipse Point, Draenei Ruins in Shadowmoon Valley, which were previously occupied by hostile blood elves loyal to Illidan in the Burning Crusade, is widely known across all of Outland as being a dangerous place composed of blood elf thistleheads. In the quest to catch a thistlehead, you are instructed by Borak to drop a bundle of blood thistle at the end of a bridge near Eclipse Point. The reason why is because Envoy Icarius, Illidan's messenger who often patrols a route near Eclipse Point, is a heavy thistlehead, so Borak believes that when Icarius sees the bundle, he will go against his better judgment and dismiss his bodyguard escort in order to pick up the bundle of blood thistle and fuel his addiction, but also by doing this, leaving him vulnerable, since once again, using blood thistle is heavily looked down upon in the eyes of other Sindorai. When the blood guard leaves and he is caught off guard, you will then ambush him and steal the missive that he possesses. Within the progression of the quest, one of Icarius' quotes is, "Ah, sweet sweet blood thistle, probably left behind by one of those filthy addicts at Eclipse Point. Their loss is most definitely my gain." Although the sentiment around avid use of blood thistle is definitely negative, the fact that so many blood elves use it means that it has a very profitable market in World of Warcraft canon. That's it for part 2 of the 5 drugs in World of Warcraft and what they do series, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any more narcotics you would like me to cover that are super interesting and that you think I may have missed, then please feel free to comment it down below so others that are interested in the topic can also be informed, and so perhaps I can make it into a future video. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this in the future, and until next time, I will see you all later.